What's going on, everybody? It's Alan from Breaking and Entering, and today we are talking with Jacob from 5 p.m. to Nowhere. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing?
Doing all right. I'm doing all right. Just wrapping up some Christmas shopping, but otherwise, yeah, been good. Been good.
I'm excited to talk to you about 5 p.m. to Nowhere and everything that's been happening with this project. If you can, for the people that don't know the band, give us a little bit of just like the history of how the band started and how you guys kind of all came together.
Yeah. It started kind of as a solo project when I was like finishing college, like kind of during COVID. I'd been writing since I was young, like probably middle school. I started writing music, but it was the first time I really kind of was putting myself out there and like recording and like playing shows of my own stuff. That wasn't like talent shows or you know
Mm-hmm.
like lower key stuff. But I think I had graduated college. It was 2021, and then November of 21, I got an opportunity to play a solo show at No Studios
Yeah.
in like the Brewery District, and one of my friends brought one of their friends who had just moved into town, who was a drummer, and she introduced the both of us. And Ben and I kind of decided to start a band together. Um, so the band, I'd say our first rehearsal was probably January 2022. We've been going
Okay.
strong since then. Yeah.
Nice. I was going to ask how that process went from going solo to building out a band. Finding the other members of the band was, I guess, fairly easy from there, right? I would
Well,
hope.
so it's interesting because the whole saying, like the moment you stop looking for something is when you find it.
Hmm.
I had tried to start bands in grades in like middle school, high school, and college, kind of all at different stages. But it never really worked out. Nothing really stuck. And
Hmm.
so once I graduated, I just kind of decided I would start doing, start as a solo artist and just kind of
Sure.
see what happened. And the first solo show I play after moving back home after college, I meet,
The rest of
Ben.
the band.
And then,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, from there was honestly pretty easy. Like the first guitarist of the band was the other guy who played with me at that show. And
Oh,
then the
okay.
bassist was the guy I knew doing open mics at Linneman's. Or I met both of like the guitarist and the bassist doing open mics at Linneman's. Um, yeah, and then that was like the first lineup. We've been through a few lineup changes since then, but me and Ben are still like the two kind of original members, and then
Hmm.
uh, Noah Byer, who I also met at Linneman's. Found out we went to grade school together, but we were like a few
Huh.
years apart, so we didn't know each other.
Hmm.
Um, and then we're currently looking for a new guitarist, actually, but
Okay.
making some headway on that. Our
Nice.
Christian, our guitarist for the past 2 years, is starting a new chapter. So,
For
but
sure.
yeah, honestly, yeah, like kind of getting the band together once Ben was on board, it kind of came together very quickly. So
Very cool. Love that.
yeah,
And then you can of course make some momentum from that.
yeah,
And that leads to like this year, you guys put out a two-part, two EP series, where it was the full album, but you gave us half and half.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about City of Light. Like, was that, did you guys always know that that was going to be the plan, was to put out half and half, or did you think that, hey, we're going to make an album, and then maybe you land on 5 songs and you're like, we know we're putting these out, let's put that out. So how did it
Yeah,
kind of go
actually,
about?
so um, we kind of always envisioned it as two halves. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
guess like 6 and 4, but like two sides. Um, Actually, so to like let the cat out of the bag a little bit, January 9th, we're going to be releasing it all as a full album. So
Nice.
that was the eventual plan. Um, but the first half kind of sounds very different from the second half as far as just
Mm-hmm.
recording, mixing, and like the whole kind of conception of everything. So it definitely feels like two halves, but
Mm-hmm.
we've put some work in to kind of bring them, like merge them together into one whole. And so, yeah, we're really excited to have it out as like a full album soon. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Were they recorded in different places, for, I mean, like physically, like different studios, or just
Yes.
kind
Yeah.
of,
So
yeah?
they were like completely different. The just the band was kind of the only through line.
Hmm.
The first half we recorded with Nick Caesars of Vinyl Theater um,
Yep.
at his studio. Uh, and yeah, we're really happy with how those turned out. But then for the second half, we recorded at 608 Studios with Derek Moffat
Okay.
of Dreamhouse. So yeah, and so they ended up kind of sounding a bit different. So we decided to split them up.
Yeah, totally. Do you think that having that kind of experience of being in two different places, different people behind the boards, that I mean, does the energy feel different in the band, even though it's the same group of people that, now they've got the whole atmosphere around you has changed? Does that change the energy of the recording, you think?
Um, I think it does a little bit. I think a lot of the energy does remain the same, just because, um, it is the same. Um, Again, it is the same band, the same people, and the same kind of the songs developed in the same ways.
Mm,
Um, and they're like songs from Act Two that we introduced into the live set before songs in Act One, even. So
sure.
even there's not really a huge like temporal difference as far as when we wrote the songs and stuff like that. I think when you do put it in a new, like, recontextualize it with that change in venue, it does change a lot. I feel like as we were recording both halves, we were still kind of really determining our sound and like how we best approached the recording process and approached everything sonically as well as just like procedurally. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think it definitely I think a lot of it is like there is a through line you can definitely pick up, but
Right.
there definitely is a lot of change as well, so a lot
For
of both.
sure.
Yeah.
Were both acts written at the same time, or was Act Two kind of getting written after Act One? Was at least developed.
Yeah, so overall I'd say Act Two had like the songs were written slightly, but there are some outliers. Like some songs from Act One were written later in the process. Some songs for Act Two were written kind of in the Act One, like around the same times that the Act One songs were written.
Sure.
Trying to think of some of a lot of my songs. I'll kind of have a piano idea or like a vocal idea or something from like years back that I'll
Okay.
like pick up and um, finally decide to like make a full song out of it, or finally get the inspiration to. So
Hmm.
I'd say overall, like, the like yeah, I'd say overall Act One was written before Act Two, but it was all kind of the same kind of process and the same, um like the whole
Yeah,
album was kind of conceptualized as a whole. Yeah.
for sure. And I would assume that, I mean, well, I guess when you listen to the two parts, you can hear the band kind of mature and gel a little bit too, right? Like that's just a
Yeah,
natural thing that
absolutely.
happens over time, you know?
100%. And just really finding our like the sounds that we really feel like we that encapsulate our sound really well, like, locking in those guitar tones, locking in the all the production and stuff like that. I think is, yeah, it definitely kind of matured from Act One to Act Two, I would say.
Sure. Well, with the full album together and the pieces, now coming together as one, what is on the horizon for you guys as a band? What are you trying to look to do, in the next couple of months as we lead into a new year? What's kind of on the radar for you?
Yeah, so we're in the studio right now. Honestly, right now has been the longest time that we've kind of had without a release since we started dropping songs from the
Hmm.
City of Light project. Um, and we kind of gonna want to get back to that, like, every month and a half, releasing a new track. Um, so we're hoping to, once this full album is out, we're hoping to get back on that with getting the next project started right away. And we're really excited about this next group of songs. So I feel like we're um, still continuing to mature as a band and kind of going in a lot of cool new directions. So I'm really excited about it.
Very cool. Well, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to hearing all of that as well.
Thank you.
If there's a place for, where's the best place to go and find 5 p.m. to Nowhere, follow you guys, and see everything that you're up to?
Yeah, I mean, we have all Instagram. We're definitely most active there. We have a website, 5pm to nowhere.com. But all the links are on our Instagram and our website. So, Spotify, all the streaming platforms, um, Facebook. We're hoping to start getting more active on like TikTok and YouTube as well. We've
There
got
we go.
a couple music videos we're really proud of. We just put out in the last couple months for some of the songs from Act Two. So definitely would recommend checking those out. Um, yeah,
Very cool. There we go. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me and do this. I appreciate it. Looking forward to all those great things on the horizon. And don't forget, if you want to hear more of 5 p.m. to Nowhere, the Milwaukee music scene in general, you can do that by going over to breakingandentering.net every single day and checking us out on all of our social media as well. So thank you, Jacob, for taking the time to do this.
absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Alan.